All right, we are live, talking about Facebook Live on Blab, and we're gonna Periscope it, and we're gonna Facebook Live it. So we're gonna get a little meta. We're gonna a little I don't know. You can call this crazy, probably. Yes, you like my, well, actually, it's not even whiteboards. I'm using giant stickies, but yes, it's the same concept. So let me fire up the Periscopes now. Yeah, I love the yeah, I know it is the meta, unfortunately. Talking Facebook Live, new features and demoing them. Is demoing a word? I don't even know if that is a word. Demoing. Demoning? No, I want demoing. Huh, I guess it works. So yeah, what I'm doing is this is my Samsung Galaxy S7. I'm gonna Facebook Live from my iPhone 6 Plus. I'm gonna do the other Facebook Lives from this iPhone 6, and then I plan on doing the last Facebook Live from my iPad Pro. So we'll get a little tricky here, and we'll see how all this works. But first up, there's Vincenzo Landino.
Sorry about that, bro.
The man likes to make an entrance. It's all right, man. You like to make an entrance. I don't blame you. If I looked as good as you, my friend, I would do the same thing.
That I do appreciate. Thank you.
How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going. You know, I heard the news, I think this morning at 10 minutes after it happened. Like, I saw it, and I did.
How many people break stuff before me? You beat me to it. You beat me to it today. I watched your stream, and then I watched a couple other videos before I even went on it. So yeah, how did you hear about it?
I saw the so I have Google. I have alerts set up for kind of like anything important in my, for me. Yep. And so I had a Google alert set up, and it got emailed to me, and I looked at it, and I was like, Facebook. I was like, live what? Live video? What? And it was just right from their newsroom. I got the hit, and I saw it. Went had I not been on the Joel Comm show or the Blab Talk Live so late last night, I probably would have gotten up early enough to be on it as soon as it happened rather than 10 minutes behind. But the live stream I did on Facebook Live this morning, it was like over 1,000, 1,200 people watched it. It was some ridiculous number. So I was like, okay.
So yeah, I mean, so what we're going to do, what we're talking about here for those that are tuning in, Enzo and I both have we were early adopters for Meerkat, users of Periscope, of course, Blab, Facebook Live. I actually didn't believe for a long time that Facebook would ever roll out a full live component. They proved me wrong, which seems to be a trend for me getting proved wrong. But from the standpoint of, I've been a big fan of Facebook Live. I thought they did some things really well. I think they did some things really piss poor. They had some things that were really hurting kind of the usage. I think the new features, they hit almost all but two. I actually put two things that I still think they really need to fix left in Facebook Live. I mean, I have a list of like 20 for Periscope. So, to put it that way. But I'm Periscoping this right now on this channel, and we're going to go live on Facebook here. And then we're going to show a couple of the new features, which one of them is you can live stream into an event page as well as into a group. But Enzo, give the audience like some of the things you talked about on your scope today.
Really, I wanted to announce just the fact that the news in general. But for me, the big play here, like you just said, Brian, was the fact that you now have the ability to go live from an event. Well, this is huge for those of you that have small businesses or you're utilizing the events page to try and promote anything. Many, many times people, we get so inundated with events, but they become worthless kind of landing pages for so many of us. And with the update here to go live on events, you now actually have something you can go live for. You can schedule, right? That was the big thing. Well, we can't schedule on Facebook Live. Well, Brian just scheduled this broadcast via an event. Well, now an event also becomes not just a way to schedule, but to create conversation before, during, and after your live stream. How cool is that? For those of you that were kind of questioning the numbers and whatnot from this morning, I just dropped in the video that I did. It was a half an hour. I think there was, let's see, 1.1 thousand. So, and I think the actual number is like 1186. Still pretty cool. The other thing I like is that you can live stream to groups. Now, live streaming to groups is super important for someone like myself that really utilizes being in groups. Brian as well. Brian's in a lot of groups. And groups are an amazing way to actually care about conversations that are happening. Groups are incredible. If you're not using Facebook groups, I recommend it highly. Well, now with live streaming to groups, you're able to reach an audience that's super targeted. So if I'm in a social media group, I'm not going to go and talk about something that's completely unrelated to social media social media group. If I'm in a real estate group, I know exactly what I'm talking about. If I'm in whatever group I'm in, this allows for really, really targeted streaming, which is something we still can't do on Periscope unless Brian knows of something else that I don't.
Nope. So and to explain targeted, really it means you can actually create content knowing the total possible amount of users that you can actually get in. Oops, sorry, someone's talking on my own Periscope in my hand. The Android, I tell you what, the Android Edge, I always click the edge of it and my screen stops. So I lost my Periscope broadcast. So I'll have to fire it back up live for everybody in a second. But yeah, so I think that's a huge one, right? I put that up as targeted Facebook, and so real quick, the rundown when I wrote down Facebook Live button on the Facebook mobile app, the button that is live. So the live broadcast button will now be replacing the messenger button on the bottom. That is high state real estate, right? Twitter has not done that. Twitter has the Moments app, the Moments button where that is on Twitter rather than where Facebook is. Streaming to groups and events you just talked about. The emotions. So now actually people are gonna be able to swipe while they're watching and actually share one of the emotions. So it's wow, like, dislike, the same emotions you get on Facebook. And then one of the things I tested out today was actually inviting people while you're watching. You can actually click the invite and directly invite your friends, which I think is a very interesting concept. And the last one here, I'm going to put the link in the side here, is the actual live map. And I have the live map up here so everybody can see it in the blab.
And Brian, you invited me to Mark Zuckerberg's live, and it popped up just like a notification. It just said, Brian Fanzo invites you. Brian Fanzo invites you to this live stream. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's really, really, really cool that Brian, one thing you and I used to talk about, I don't know if you remember this, but we used to talk a lot about notification overload when it came to live streaming.
For sure.
What Facebook has done and continues to do well, I don't care if you don't like Facebook and if you don't think Facebook creates products that are, viable, because some people have said that.
Really?
But well, remember my article on Facebook, the one where I said Facebook would kill Periscope? People were like, Facebook has they've put out such crap products that have never led to anything. And I'm like, okay. But my point is, Facebook has created a central location for everything. You have your family, you have your friends, you have business, you have live streaming, you have photos, you have collages, you have sports moments. Everything's in one. If I could turn off every social media notification and just turn on one, it would probably be Facebook at this point in time. Like right now, it would be Facebook because I have everything I can get on Facebook. Twitter is super overloaded. You have to really work at Twitter to target who you want to get notifications from. Snapchat, I love Snapchat, but if I leave notifications on, my battery is killed within like 3 hours. Plus, it's overload.
Yep.
But with Facebook, I love the fact that I can turn the notifications on. I turn the little bubble on, and I see how many notifications I have. I click on it. It's on my front app, and everything's there. Oh, Brian Fanzo's live streaming. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg's live streaming. Oh, look, someone posted a photo. Oh, somebody tagged a photo. It's all there. And I think this is as close as we are going to get, for now, to like this all-in-one social media platform. For now, we haven't seen anything that's still all-inclusive, and I still don't think Facebook's all-inclusive. This is as close as we're going to get for a while.
So what I do was that link that you guys see down there is now for my iPad Pro, which is down here on my desk. I'm actually live in that actual on Facebook Live on my personal page, and this was something I wanted to test. I'm also Facebook Live to the event page from a second device. So I'm targeting, so right here, the people that are seeing this Facebook Live that's on the tripod right here is anyone who's following me on Facebook on my personal account, right? And
tripod,
anybody who's following me.
Nickname?
What?
I said tripod. Isn't that your nickname?
Tripod, yeah, it should be. Well, it should be a multiple random device guy. But you know, and then on here, I have Periscope on here, and then I have, right now, I have Kristen Cardos who's commenting. This is broadcasting from my iPad Pro to the actual event page. So what this means is, like you said, not only targeted engagement, but now you actually have the ability to, let's say you only get access to this private Facebook event if you pay for the online ticket. Well, guess what? We can now stream to that online ticket place and the public doesn't get it. So now we're actually giving people access, and this is an issue, right, for Social Media Marketing World coming up. We're both presenting at Social Media Marketing World, and at Social Media Marketing World, they're going to be at the live event, and you can buy the digital online package, but it's not live, right? You can buy the online package and watch it at a later point. And the reason that we're not Periscoping and Facebook Living every keynote is because that would take away the value from those people that are in the audience. Well, guess what? Yeah. Now we can actually have them all in a private group or all in a private event, and we can stream directly into that event. Therefore, not only adding exclusivity, but really not adding a new value proposition for Facebook Live. I think this is awesome news. I think this is a game changer. Smart of Facebook. I've said for a long time, Facebook Live before today was about maturing your existing email list, because really the only people who saw Facebook Live, in my opinion, were those that were following you or engaged with you recently. And it was hard for you to grow an audience to like a global audience, like where Twitter, where you post and people are already all out there. Now with these new features, I can share it into a group. I can broadcast from a group so only a group can see it. I can broadcast to an event so only an event can see it. I can also have people invite, because one of my problems is I don't want to share your feed, your Facebook Live to my Facebook feed, but I want to invite 30 people that are my followers to it. Now you have that ability to do that within the app. All I did was tap the little icon, and it popped up with the people I most frequently engage with, which was funny because Kristen Cardos and Vincenzo were the top two. So, of course, I clicked both of them, and I was able to invite both of them to a Facebook Live stream without it reposting to my news feed. That is massive for how you actually grow.
And that's one of the biggest – I think I'm getting a little feedback, Bri.
For me?
I don't know if it might be me. Oh no, it's good. I think that's probably the biggest feature that's going to go untalked about, is that you can do that, right? We hear a lot about like the live map. Now you can pull up a map of different streaming.
Here's the map for
which is great.
I want to see it. I'm gonna put it in the comments section of the blab. I'll also copy it into the show notes on Facebook one as well. But there's the Facebook Live map if you guys want to check that out. So it's pretty interesting.
Brian, did you know that we can actually, on Blab, you can pin your comment?
Nope.
So I can pin what you just posted.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love these features. Blab keeps showing up. But I can't put, the link doesn't work for, the Facebook Live map link isn't the type of link that actually is able to be shareable there. But here, I'm gonna share out so if you guys want to see what the Facebook view is, here, I'm going to share that one out here. My internet's not.
The map shows who's live everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Not just your Facebook feed. So, and then I think what it does too, doesn't it show like a web of who's actually watching, like where all the viewers are coming in from?
Yes, it gives you both. Here, and I'll show it to you.
So if you hover over where someone's viewing, it actually shows like this web of where the viewers are coming from. So if we dial into Brian's stream,
it does. It gives you both. Here, hold on. Wow, you see that Facebook delay? So yeah. Actually, it's funny we just said that. So that to me is their number one issue to address. Right now, I tested it this morning with Ryan Bell. It was between 8.5 seconds and 12-second lag between when you said something on Facebook Live and the audience actually consumed it. That Vincenzo and I are meerkatters. We knew that at one time at Meerkat we had 20.
We're good. We're good with the.
Yeah, we're used to that lag. But I think you brought up a good point. Not only the live viewing map, but the other thing is that is added on, and I added it here for those that I got to like turn around like 9 cameras to get people to see it. But here on, they actually, when you're live streaming now, you're going to get 2 stats across the bottom. Total number of live viewers and concurrent live viewers. What did you think of that when you were broadcasting, Enzo?
Well, so here's the thing. I broadcasted from the Mentions app, so you've
always had that stats then, right?
No, actually, I don't. What's funny is that I don't have that stat. I only have one number, which is the concurrent viewers, not how many have been in the room. I also don't have the new feature that is live reaction. So if someone wows or loves, I don't see that in Mentions. Now, somebody said that once the app got updated, it changed, but I updated the app. I still tried it. It didn't work. So it looks like that was rolled out to just the Facebook. But here's what that tells me. So, Bri, that brings up an interesting point.
Yep.
The fact that that's not on the Mentions app, which is for public figures, blue check mark people. Oh, shut up. Whatever. I have Mentions. I have a blue check mark for those of you who don't know on Facebook. Whatever that means to you.
I am not.
However valuable that information is to you, take it. But what I think the reason for that is because they don't want their celebrities getting inundated with the features, because they're trying to appeal to the mainstream, the masses, right? So like the live reactions on screen is very similar to hearts on Periscope, right?
Yep.
And like you said, hearts on Periscope was what? Part of the learning curve. Well, there you go. Broadcasters, famous people, celebrities probably don't need that learning curve because most of them are in front of a camera at some point. So they don't need that feedback. In fact, the Mentions app doesn't even encourage that type of feedback. If I open up my Mentions app, I had 27 notifications on my regular Facebook app. I opened up Mentions, I had 2.
Wow, really?
Because it's right. Yeah, because it only gives me certain notifications on the Mentions app. So there's a little bit of, I think it's huge to show concurrent and current total viewers in an app, but I don't know if it's like, to me, I don't think it's that big of a feature, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting, and a couple of people are talking about a lot of the new features, like the swipe for emotions. They said is coming when the app actually updates, when they actually have the icon in the bottom of your mobile phone. So those functions aren't there. I do see like on Facebook Live right now into my page, I actually see that says your audience is growing. You have 25 people watching. I also see that it tells me how many concurrent users I have. And then the other thing I loved when I was watching Mark Zuckerberg's presentation is it said which one of my friends are also watching this stream, which I actually think is a pretty interesting Facebook feature as well. I think Facebook Live is actually going to allow brands to not only be more targeted, but are going to actually allow people to understand a little bit more value beyond where Facebook Live is actually going.
There's a few different perspectives I have on that. So we're going to see the early flux of people trying it out, right? Everyone's going to kind of run to it like, oh, let's go live for every little thing that we're doing. Every event that we decide to do, we're going to try and go live for it. And then it's going to get old because they're not going to understand that you need to have a strategy behind it. You can't just hit broadcast without some sort of idea of what you're doing, right? And that's where people like you and I, Backlamp, your company Backlamp with Ryan Bell, my agency 52 Creative, that's where people like us come into play. We've been doing this. We've been playing with the technology so for those of you that think that we've been playing for a year with these technologies, it's all for good reason. But the brands that get it will do it properly. They're going to do it right. They're going to go all in. They're going to put a little bit of money behind it. And like you said, you can really target who you want to talk to at this point. I'm testing out some Facebook ads on my live video to see what I can, where it's going to go and what it does with my numbers. So I'll report back as soon as I see that. But what I'm also curious is how I can broadcast in groups that I've opened. Like you might see a huge increase in groups now because you might, like I'm going to segment where I want to be, or you're going to see an increase in subscribership to groups because now it's like, well, I'm going to jump into that real estate group now because I can go live. It's not just this like stupid text group. It's a lot of other stuff.
one of the things I've always talked about when it comes to a community, exclusivity is a powerful element of a community. Give me access, give me things of how people can actually do things. So right now you can actually go into a group and you can actually live stream from a group. So I can actually do that as we speak. That functionality is live today. Now the interesting thing will be, how do we manage administrative rights? Does every person that is a group member have the ability to live to a broadcast to a Facebook group? I mean, as soon as that happens, I have a feeling we're gonna get a lot of people that are, our guidelines as the pinned Facebook post is going to change and say, don't do self-promotional, like your traditional things. But I think Facebook groups are from a business resource, especially as someone in the marketing space and speaking space, I find no better value for my time than Facebook groups. And now I think being able to actually add additional, I'm part of a speaker mastermind and we have a Facebook group. Well, we do like these workshops and we always go to Zoom and we do these other things. Now someone can actually Facebook Live directly into that group and give their insights, give their thoughts and have a conversation. So for me, like the value of doing it from a targeted way is extremely important. I think it's a massive change. I think the app location, now that it's the bottom location of the app, will be a massive change. I also, Blackout here said, why can we not broadcast from official or fan pages? You can. I'm broadcasting right now as we speak from iSocial Fans, which is my fan page. So you can do that. It wasn't available before, but that is a feature and functionality that is now available.
Through pages, right?
You don't even need pages anymore. So
you don't? Because you did.
So right now on my iPhone, in the actual native Facebook app, they actually brought the Facebook Live icon back into the Facebook app, which I think is a good thing.
Okay.
So that's a good one. So let's answer a couple more of these questions that a couple of the audience here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bring on your questions. Except that a conversation. I agree. So this is actually a great point. I actually think there's the two biggest problems, in my opinion, on Facebook, and one of them is going to be a problem on YouTube, is pretty simple. The mindset that today exists on Facebook, on YouTube, is not live. We go to Twitter for live, real conversations, back and forth, tweeting lots of back and forth. When you go on Facebook, you post a comment, and you don't expect someone to get back to you immediately, let alone you talking to somebody on video. When you go on a YouTube and you post a YouTube comment, you probably don't even expect the YouTuber to ever comment. Only the good ones actually comment in there. So I think shifting the mindset, and the thing that I love in the features is in the app, they're going to have a new tab that says friends that are live. So while you're in the Facebook app, you're actually going to be able to click on that button and see which one of your friends or which one of the pages that you like are actually live at that moment. That is going to help, because then people are going to know when you're clicking in there, you're expecting live engagement, you're expecting live conversation. Kudos, Facebook, because that's a big change and a big thing that they added.
So I have a question. This is a thought-provoking question for anybody that has an idea. This is no right or wrong. Brian, Facebook announced this the day after Twitter announces that they and the NFL joined forces to broadcast Thursday night football games. We still don't know how that's going to happen. We're assuming through moments. Why would Facebook open up live streaming into events without some sort of sports play going on? Now they have their like sports stadium, but is there something we don't know about? Because Twitter, it was really, really cheap what they paid for the 10 games compared to what NBC and CBS have played for the same 10 games.
Way cheap. But here's the thing. I think the actual platform was selected based on the type of audience they have. I think Twitter was right, and but I actually think what Facebook's doing is very strategic in saying we're going to make it like we're going to give you the ability to open and close a door for events. So let's say right now I wanted to watch the NCAA March Madness. Well, guess what? I don't have TV at my house. I'm a cord cutter at the moment, so I have no DirecTV, no AT&T, no TV in my house. I could not watch NCAA March Madness.com because it wanted me to authenticate with one of their providers because that's their
same thing.
Right. The new piece was, guess what? Imagine this. If you were in a group for March Madness as a DirecTV user, they could actually broadcast into that DirecTV user Facebook group. And now people don't even have to leave the Facebook group to consume what they're already consuming. So for me, I actually think the play here ends up giving it what it does, in my opinion, is it puts more control, which is the word I hate, they put more control in the broadcasters' hands, which is going to make the media companies happy. Where Twitter is going to, it's simulcasting the NBC, CBS broadcast into your Twitter feed, which I think is a massive opportunity for Twitter. But I think it's actually smart of Facebook to back out. I think it was smart of the NFL to pick Twitter. I think it was smart of Facebook to add the events element the day after. And remember, this is only a week after YouTube announcing YouTube Connect's going to be announced in May at the Google I/O conference.
Yep. So there's a lot of live. There's quite a. And again, I always think to myself, like, it's a good point what you said, because Twitter's more of a live audience, or it's a more live real time audience with hyper engagement. Like, what if you catch fire on Twitter? It's like it blows up, and especially with journalists, news reporters, like, let's say a Thursday night game is going on, former players or current players that are watching the game are tweeting and whatnot, and that's happening while they're watching live on Twitter. I mean, I can just imagine the firestorm of content and the firestorm of conversation that they're going to create. By the way, you just need another damn thing to hold that phone. It's like, it's almost making me shake that you have to use your hand right now.
Trust me, I wish I didn't have to use it, but we're good. Bob King said, isn't Facebook Live only for you? Everywhere, every English-speaking country, and it's available for Android as of today. So I actually did Facebook Live on Android earlier today. So you can actually, any English-speaking country, Android and iOS can actually use Facebook Live from your personal account. They're still rolling out the pages to everybody else. But all you do is you go into the status on your Facebook app, and you, as if you're going to click a status, and then one of the icons across the bottom is that actual piece. So here you go. Hey guys, anyone have their Facebook app disappear from phone? Seriously weird. What sucked? They went to my phone. The whole Facebook app disappeared? Nope, Colby. I'm actually streaming.
Colby's actually streaming right now.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure she's streaming. Colby's live.
Oh.
That's kind of funny.
It is funny. All right, so Colby, you're good. How do you stream to just a group? So what you do is you actually go into the group page and you click status. And then after you click status, it actually does the same pop-up. And here, I'll show you how that works real quick. So I can actually put that one down. So here, I have a group. I tested it. All right. So here, we're going to go to groups on my iPad here. And I'm going to go up to my groups. And I'm going to go into social media masterminds. I'm going to click.
Hey guys, while you're watching this, if you could share this out, guys, whoever's watching, share this broadcast out here on Blab. We're looking to, bring this out to as many. We have a special guest. Is our special guest still coming on?
He's supposed to. I haven't got a message that he's not. So yes, our special guest is still coming on. We have a special guest
coming on. You don't want to miss this, for the record. So
this is the group page. This is the group look. So as you guys can see, I'm in the social, and then so all I gotta do is type in a title, but it's the icon across the bottom that says live, and then look what it does. It actually pops into live, and then I click here, and it just asks me to create a title. So look at this. I can actually stream right here, and only people in the social media masterminds group, because that's the one I selected, can actually see this live broadcast once I click live. To me, that is impressive. That is something that allows exclusivity. It allows targeted engagement. Remember, we're working with brands to build strategies. A lot of it about is, hey, we have to embrace change in live streaming already. How do we know that we're not going to have trolls? How do we know we're not going to have people, our competitors? All of these things, guess what? Now you can be a little bit more targeted on Facebook Live. The ability to target on Periscope is really bad private ones where you have to scroll down. You can't even see everybody. You have to pick each individual. I mean, Periscope should have added the ability to group or tag your followers long ago, and that would have helped solve that issue. But that's impressive.
Brian, are you now more inclined to broadcast on Facebook knowing that we can target who we're talking to as opposed to Periscope?
Me personally, no. So me personally, because I want people that don't know, like, or trust me. I want people that have never heard of Brian Fanzo to jump on my feed and hire me to speak at their event. And still on Facebook, even if I'm going to a group, even if I'm going off of a page, even if I'm going off of my personal account, that still requires people to know me already or know somebody that already knows me. Where on Periscope, it allows me to broadcast to that global unfiltered fire hose. But I will say, I will use it a hell of a lot more now, because when I go to an event and we're talking about Snapchat and I'm a part of a Snapchat, Facebook group, I can actually Facebook Live directly into that Snapchat group, because I know a majority of my Facebook followers don't give a crap about Snapchat. But now that I can do that directly into the Facebook group, and it's going to help me with brands. I mean, from a brand perspective, I won't be surprised that every brand that I work with now with these new features, I will be creating a strategy for every brand to use Facebook Live, compared to like before, where they were like, well, we're not sure, we don't know how much our live audience is. I mean, if you guys saw Jana Steele has an amazing Facebook page. So when she streams on Facebook Live, she gets a hell of an engagement and an amazing audience. So I think this is very strategic. But for me personally, with my personal goals of live streaming, my personal goals are to be found by those that don't know who I am. Therefore, Periscope is still going to be my personal brand option.
Sheila Jane asks, how will your Facebook Live posts be different from a private group you run and your business page? Well, Sheila, your Facebook Live, for the majority of individuals, my sound is blistered. Okay, that's probably...
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is blistering a little bit.
Is it still?
Yeah, it's still a little bit.
How about now? Are you guys better now?
Huh. It's actually not blistering. It's like a no. It's like going through two pop filters, crackling. Talk. Now I can't hear you at all. All right, he'll be right back. So to answer that question, Facebook Live posts will be different. So here's the thing: when you post to your Facebook Live, when you post to your Facebook page, anybody who liked your page or has interacted in your page with recently will get a notification. They have the ability to subscribe to you. When you post to a private group, nobody gets notifications except those that are in that group. When you post to your own personal account, the only people that actually see it from your personal account are the friends that are following you. It'll just now say that individual is live. So
I'm back.
Here. You're back. Yep, you're good. And your sound
sounds better. Okay. I forgot exactly what I wanted to answer now, but what were we saying?
I just answered the question that was up there. So we'll jump to the next one.
Guys, an easy way to share this out, blab.isocialfans.live. Using that .live is important. It's very, very simple. blab.isocialfans.live. Make sure you share that link. It's very, very easy. And if you don't have a .live domain, today's a great day to do that, especially with the news of Facebook having this. You can get a .live domain. Pretty much it's not overly used right now, so you can get in almost like a social network, where everyone runs to get their name. So I have Vincenzo.live. It's not up and running yet, but I have Vincenzo.live because I can't get Vincenzo on social networks, but VincenzoLandino.com is already me anyway. So Brian has iSocialFans.live. If you're interested in live,
I have 9. I have 9.live. So I'm using I have iSocialFans.live. I have ThinkLikeAFan.video, which is another one of that same family. So if you just go to the URL and type in the letter A, and then I think it's A.live, you can actually get one of the discounted .live accounts. So like I actually made subcategories. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.isocialfans.live. You want to find me on Periscope, periscope.isocialfans.live. Blab, Facebook. You want to go to my Facebook page? Facebook.isocialfans.live redirects you to my Facebook page. So I'm actually using all of my different .live addresses. I got FOMOmarketing.live. I have BrianFanzo.live.
So we actually just dropped. Mark just dropped geta.live. You can use the code MGLive, 50% off.
Whoa!
So there you go. You're getting 50% off a .live.
You get 50% off mine. There you go.
Somebody asked, what is the advantage of .live? Well, here's the advantage of .live, right? It's like anything else out there. It's about branding. It's about marketing consistency. If I was to tell everyone VincenzoLandino.com, if I wanted to send them to something that was going to be live, they may not be expecting a live feed. They may not be expecting that type of content. I can use my .live. I can then create a subdomain, snapchat.vincenzolandino. or vincenzo.live, which then I can use that and redirect it to my Snapchat/ad/Vincenzo Landino, and it'll automatically direct people to add me there. I can use that. You can do that with your .coms. Don't get me wrong, but it's a mindset. It's a branding thing. If you're looking to brand yourself, if you're looking to brand your business, It's a really cool way to brand your business, and it really helps your customer base understand what they're clicking on. It's something live. That's what they're getting.
Yeah. Well, and I think, for me, Live also, it is that mindset, right? Like, that if you're getting redirected, I'm redirecting most people to Blab. I'm redirecting most people to my Facebook page to watch a Live. So when I had to share this right now, if I wanted to share, you wanted to go to my Blab account, it would be a specific URL, and I can have that redirect set up, as well as kind of understanding. So the domains are very interesting in the live video space, because we're talking about Facebook Live. So this question down below, it says, how well will Facebook Live do against YouTube Live? Well, first off, none of us have actually seen YouTube Live yet, but I did write down some of their features that they talked about on their press release. You're going to be able to stream from their separate app. So there's going to have a Connect app that will have chat functionality, but you'll actually be able to comment and view the live streams on youtube.com, which I think is a big thing, because let's face it. You know what Periscope needs to do? Attention, Periscope. Periscope. How are we not allowing engagement from the browser? Facebook, you can engage in live streams from the browser. Blab, you can do it from the browser. YouTube will be from the browser. Guess what you cannot do if you go to my Periscope, live Periscope right now? Engage from the browser. I think this is a massive, massive oversight. Periscope needs to fix this. They're going to really hurt, because the reason engagement is so fastly grown on Facebook is because you don't have to be on your mobile phone to actually comment or share or engage.
Yeah. I'm just answering a question here. Dr. Cindy Brown asked a question. I wasn't sure exactly what she meant by her question. And anybody, guys, whatever your questions are, please feel free to ask them. We're going to answer as much as we can. I think Brian just answered Jonathan here. The map identifies who's live on your Facebook feed. No, it identifies who's live everywhere. That's an easy enough question. We don't have to jump too deeply into that. How do you get your live video to these domains? I answered that in the chat itself. What is the advantage of .live? We answered that as well in the chat. Will Periscope take a hit with the latest from Facebook live streaming? Oh, okay. Sorry, you put in something else.
No, I like that one. No, do that one.
So here's something I wrote a while back, and Brian, let me have my moment here with this one.
I will. Go ahead.
So VincenzoLandino.com, Facebook Live. Now, this is something I wrote about Facebook Live killing off Periscope. This is when Facebook Live for mentions was written. So I wrote it originally back in August, and then I've updated it. I've podcasted about it. Here's the really cool thing, is that I still stand by my statement that Facebook Live will kill off Periscope. However, with Twitter's new NFL partnership, I think it's going to be it's not going to be as quickly as I thought it would be eventually. Periscope may take the hit in the fact that now that you can target, and Brian may know more than I do about what I'm saying, the fact that you can target with Facebook, you can live stream into groups, you can live stream into events. Those aren't things that Periscope is giving you functionality for. You don't have much segmentation. Actually, you don't have any segmentation in Periscope at all. Segmentation, there was a podcast episode I recorded last week about marketing segmentation and how important segmentation is to not only your strategy, but your bottom line, and identifying who you want to talk to. Well, Facebook is kind of putting their foot down on this one and saying, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity, the option to really segment to who you want to talk to when you're live. And again, Periscope doesn't do that. Who will that benefit? Well, that's going to benefit brands and marketers. So now the brands and this is what happened with Meerkat. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Meerkat, what happened was they weren't able to reach the brands. So a lot of people backed out because the brand content, the celebrities, the journalists, the newscasters were jumping on Periscope. They couldn't keep them on Meerkat. Well, what happens when you have celebrities and brands on one platform? Well, you're going to get all your users to go watch that content on another platform. So if Facebook, the way I see all these plays is to get the brands, the advertisers, and if that ends up happening, that's where the money comes from, and that's where eventually the audience, the viewers are going to go. And I'm not saying Periscope's going to die because Twitter's way more powerful than Meerkat ever was. Twitter's way more relevant than these other My Eye, Fire Talk, all this other stuff. Like, they're way more relevant. So Periscope won't go away unless Twitter wants it to.
Well, I think for everyone that's kind of out there, I think your strategy for the two of them today has to still be unique. You cannot, it is not the same strategy, because I don't think you're reaching the same audiences. And I think actually the play that Twitter is probably going to make here, and this is my prediction yesterday with the NFL news, is when they're getting exclusive rights into the locker room before and after the NFL games on Thursday nights. What the play there ends up coming is you start educating the players, the teams, the analysts that are in the sports play. And I think Periscope is going to go back to a little bit of this idea where Periscope is about the mobile aspect of live streaming, where I think Facebook is going to be much more around the focus of the desktop and understanding, like not the desktop actual Facebook Live, but the idea of the majority of the consumers are on your desktop. So for an example, I think
that's an interesting.
And I think if you think of it this way, part of the reason Periscope has been so locked in on the app is they want their users that are logging into Periscope. That the only content you get when you're in Periscope is live content, right? And I think when you're able to go in the locker rooms, you're able to take the mobile phone places. I actually think that that is going to be a very interesting. So from a strategic perspective, Facebook Live for a brand, if you're able to into a group off of your Facebook page to share about the latest product release that your Facebook page got exclusive access to ahead of time, genius. Because if you share that to your Twitter feed via Periscope, not the same kind of relevancy. But I think everyone has to define what success looks like and what your strategy is. And I actually believe it's a completely unique strategy between the two.
Brian, you and I were involved in a project earlier or late last summer with Applebee's called Taste the Change. Well, Applebee's used their Facebook page to create an event for the live stream that was on a website that they created, a special landing page for that. Well, imagine broadcasting directly in that event, or to that event, the 25,000 individuals that had subscribed to the event. Imagine having done that right from there. That's how brands can utilize it. I think somebody asked a question there, and it just came to me, so I wanted to say that.
And here's the thing: the reason brands are missing the bigger picture is this is a new concept. Let's face it. The state of social media, the state of change, the state of live video, a year and a half ago from now, this wasn't even a mindset. This wasn't even, so when we're building out content calendars as a brand, and you're building out, your CMO is building out their strategic strategy on what their KPIs were, and they built it out 18 months ago, when they're building that out, this isn't something that they played in there. So when you see brands like Applebee's, the UFC, like you have the Mashables, the Red Bulls, the Coca-Colas, you have AT&T sent Snapchatters to the NCAA tournament. Those are brands that are living on the bleeding edge, willing to fail fast, and aren't relying on kind of a stagnant content calendar strategy. I think we're going to see a year from now, every brand has a Facebook Live element in their strategy. Every brand has the ability to live video at every event, every product release, every employee engagement. Imagine this: you have remote employees all around the world, right? And you want to be able to live stream to all of your employees. Well, if your employees, like for companies that I work with, they all have a private Facebook group. Well, now I'm able to stream into that Facebook group, and people can interact. You can show behind the scenes, and the company doesn't have to worry about other people seeing it, but you're still giving them access to something they normally would not have access to. I think that's a massive update on Facebook. So for those that are tuning in, there was a massive Facebook update to the Facebook Live aspect this morning. So this morning they announced a couple key features, that the live button on the mobile phone will be updated and will replace the messenger button on the bottom of your phone. You're going to be able to stream. You can, as of today, you can live stream into Facebook groups as well as Facebook events. I tested it out here. The other ones is Facebook Emotions will roll out in about 2 weeks when everybody gets the app. You can invite other people rather than just sharing the broadcast to your feed. I tested that and invited Vincenzo into Mark Zuckerberg's live stream a little bit earlier. Facebook Live Map is now available. So if you go to facebook.com/live map, that's available, where you can see where everybody is Facebook Living at this moment. And then the other one is for publishers and streamers. You'll now be able to see total number of live viewers and total current viewers at that moment. Someone brought up on my Facebook Live account and said they were curious about what happens to the video after it's live. So as of this moment, as soon as you're done live, it's removed from the public news feed, but it stays on your personal feed as if it's a normal video. And it'll live on your Facebook page as any other video would. You can actually go in and hit edit and rename it and add tags to it as well. So yes, it does give you more life than the 24 hours that Periscope gets you. The only issue is it doesn't stay in the news feed anymore once you stop being live. So you really have to do what Vincenzo talked about earlier, putting some paid social behind it to get the replay back out there, because the replay will exist for those that go to your Facebook page, but it will not be seen from those that are just scrolling their normal public news feed. And that's a new feature. Facebook originally was allowing replays to stay in there, but it's kind of a smart play. They want live being live, and they want organic, polished video being what you watch in your news feed when you're scrolling your news feed. But that's an interesting piece, because remember, you're not getting all of that news feed reach on your replays on Facebook unless you're putting a little bit of paid behind it. And if you're one of those that complain about paid social, in my opinion, you've paid for ads, you've paid for TV spots, you've paid for business cards. The fact that you've never been willing to pay for social, to me, is kind of a joke. Put a little bit of money behind it, put a little strategy behind paid social. Yep. I'm seeing Enzo's company is a company that does that kind of work. I'm seeing massive amount of value for the brands that I'm working with that are putting a little bit of paid social behind their replays on Periscope. If you put $20 behind a replay for 24 hours on Twitter, and you target a certain audience, you're going to get one hell of a click-through rate. And I had an 83% click-through rate on Friday on people that I targeted on Twitter with my Periscope.
Well, and we'll talk about paid social. Somebody made the comment. You don't have to pay a lot on social. You don't. I mean, I on average, I'm not paying more than 4 cents for video views or at all, and that's per 1,000 usually. Like, I'm not. It's just you don't have to. You don't have to if you're doing it right. And if you're paying more than that, you're doing it wrong. And that's when you need to call somebody to help you do it. I know Steve wants us to answer a question here. How does this affect Snapchat? I don't even think this is in the same conversation, to be honest with you. Brian might have a different perspective, but my perspective is that this mirrors what Snapchat is trying to do as a whole. I think Snapchat is really focused on the mobile. And like Brian said, Facebook, there's still that desktop experience, and they understand that their user base is still relying on the desktop. Snapchat's trying to be your phone. And if you can understand that for a second, that's what Snapchat's trying to be. They're trying to be your FaceTime. They're trying to be your telephone. They're trying to be your text, your iMessage, your text messages. They're trying to be your YouTube in terms of sharing like a story or a vlog. They're trying to be your Facebook video, your Twitter video. Like, they're trying to be everything.
Well, so, and this is where I use a distinction. I believe Snapchat is social video. It is not live streaming. And social video means video where you encourage conversations and back and forth. But it is not live, because the nice thing about Snapchat, and the reason your strategy has to be completely different, and this is not a competitor, and I agree with you, Enzo, is that Snapchat, you can consume the content anytime in the next 24 hours and still participate and see the content in the correct chronological order. That is how Snapchat assigns their stories. When you're viewing a live stream, the live engagement and the live conversation, it technically dies, or it becomes a blog comment after you're no longer being live. So Snapchat gives you acquired attention during that period of time, where live streaming gives them access to a unique experience that they have to be a part of at that moment. So the difference for me in a strategy is I'm gonna work right next to you. For Periscope and Facebook Live, I'm gonna hire a Snapchat influencer and a YouTube influencer. We're all gonna tell a similar story in a unique way for that custom platform, and each one of us are going to have a different strategy, as well as we're going to solve a different business goal. But I do believe if Snapchat is a social video platform, it is not live streaming, does not compete with these two. I actually think YouTube will be an interesting piece on where it fits with Blab, because if YouTube allows you to broadcast from your web camera, we didn't even talk about that. But imagine if Facebook opened up the web camera aspect of your Facebook Live and you were able to broadcast there's some interesting elements here, because right now Blab is the only live streaming platform that is this kind of live streaming, that you can live stream from your phone and your browser or from your desktop.
I don't think anybody else is really trying to play in that space right now. So I think Blab is going to keep going until like a Facebook says this is worth it. But I don't think Facebook's going to say this is. I don't think Facebook wants to play in this space personally. I don't think Twitter necessarily wants to play in this space. So for now, they are what they are.
And here's the best blog, and I didn't write it. The best blog that I've read on the future of live video came actually with a massive interview with the man, Mark Zuckerberg. It's posted on BuzzFeed. I just put the link in here. If you guys go on BuzzFeed, it's actually like the #1 blog article right now. But some of the quotes that you hear out of Zuckerberg are just, I mean, he is so in touch here. He says, we're entering this new golden age of video. I wouldn't be surprised if you fast forward 5 years and most of the content that people see on Facebook and are sharing on a day-to-day basis is video. That's the reason they're all in. They're moving Messenger app off of the bottom of the app and replacing it with live video.
Well, that's all. Yeah.
If that doesn't validate the live video space, I don't know what will. I mean, Google's in play, Facebook's in play. Periscope now got an NFL contract, and they're owned by Twitter. The founder of Periscope is now on the executive board of Twitter.
Well, Periscope didn't get the contract on the NFL.
Yes, they did.
I thought I thought any live stream can go back behind the scenes.
So it's exclusivity. So only ones.
Just Periscope.
So only locker room access before and after games is Periscope only.
Okay.
I
didn't even know that.
And so it's 10 Thursday night games. And actually, if you guys want to check out, it's on my YouTube channel. It's on my blog, and I actually just posted on my Facebook page as well. I actually did a 30-minute strategy session where live I took the press release of the Twitter NFL announcement, and I did a 30-minute strategy on how they should build out their strategy. And if you guys can't see it here, but I'll show you. It's that whiteboard. It's the white one here. So I actually I walk you through how I would build out a strategy, how I think they should integrate Vine, how they should educate people, how they should go to every preseason game, all of those kind of things. So I think it's some interesting news. But yeah, this BuzzFeed article, recommend you guys bookmarking and reading that, because it'll really set your mind on why Facebook's all in, but also where this live video is coming from.
Hey, I want to, some people are still talking about the .live, and I just want to address this really, really quick. Mark and Summit Live, if you guys can drop in the URL to where they can buy a .live and the code for 50% off, that would be great. But I also want to say that don't think of it as just live streaming. If you're in the events business, because I know there's people in nonprofit that do events. I know there's people that run events, period. Imagine if your blog and your live event have the same name. Well, differentiate the two and say, hey, go on over to whatever, briansevent.live instead of briansevent.com and forward it over to whatever it is, an event page. So there's different ways you can use that. And again, I'm not a salesperson or anything for these guys. I'm just simply, I believe in that type of branding. So if it's branding, I love being able to do that. Mark,
I put the challenge out there. You give me an industry or a company or a brand, and I guarantee I can build you a live streaming digital storytelling strategy around it. I did a mortuary about a week and a half ago. Right now, we're building out a white paper that'll have 70 different industries and 70 different types of companies, where we're going to show 10 different places where people, or 10 different ways that people could use live streaming in each one of those 70 industries. So the problem is you have to actually have a different mindset, and you have to reset what success looks like and what value is. And for some reason, funny enough, Facebook is having a massive glitch, because I can't see my comments on my Facebook Live right now, which is kind of funny. But
that's just that, Brian. Nobody's commenting. That's why.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, that could be true as well. So,
I'm kidding, Brian.
Mark said, from a call to action perspective, how easy is it to find the location of a live stream? Is it something like facebook.com/user? Go ahead.
It's whatever your URL is. So my URL is facebook.com. Now, unfortunately, I screwed up when I got Facebook, or when I had Facebook. This is my second Facebook account because I had deleted it. So my URL on Facebook for my personal profile is Enzo Miguel. Miguel is my middle name, so it's Enzo, and it looks like Michelle, right? So, but it's as easy as that. Now I can broadcast live as well from my page, which is Vincenzo Speaks. So I can just tell people, go to facebook.com/Vincenzo Speaks. You call it a day. It's not user /this/that/blah, blah. And, that happens a lot with a lot of other platforms. But it could be as simple as that. So if you wanted to start a page, make sure you get a good name. And Naomi, she bought a .live, right? We're going back to .live for a second. She just bought Naomi.live. She's going to be the only Naomi.live. Anybody else named Naomi in the whole entire world can't get Naomi.live now. That's where I was going with the branding thing. I understand about it diluting your brand. I get all that kind of stuff, but I have Vincenzo.live. As far as I know, there's another name that I want to get. It's still available.
Thanks.
That's
a good point. So like for me, my URL for my page doesn't really matter anymore because I promote facebook.isocialfans.live, right? So that using that redirect on the .lives work. And it is available on Android. Facebook Live is as of today. I tested it out. I have a Samsung. That's what this is right here, Galaxy S7. So you are able to use that. Here it goes. What gives? Every page I manage doesn't have live. They're rolling out slowly. I do believe the pages rollout is a little slower than they planned. I do have it on all I manage 8 pages, and 7 of my 8 had it right up that first day, and then the one of them I got like a week and a half ago. So I'm not sure on what the rollout schedule is, but you'll be getting it soon. Let's see.
Give an example of a Periscope broadcast to customers versus Facebook live stream. Sheila, if you're still in the room, just let us know because I want a little clarification. I think I understand what you're asking, but I just want a little bit of a deeper clarification. What do you mean by give an example of? Okay, yeah, there you are, Sheila. Thank you. What do you mean? What are you looking for in terms of an example? Like physically, you want me to show you? Because I can't do that. I feel like I'm just sitting and providing content for both. Oh, okay, I got it. So, okay, listen, Brian and I differ on this one. I know we differ here because Brian's broadcasting from 3 different devices right now. I'm only here and I'm focused solely here. But Brian, you have to understand, and I try to explain this a lot to people there's a lot of people that hate on Brian because like he's all over the place and he's always on new apps. And Brian, give me a second to talk. The reason Brian's on a bunch of different apps and he's doing it simultaneously is not because you need to be doing it, but when you want to hire somebody, you're going to hire somebody that knows all the different apps. You're not going to hire somebody that has never broadcasted on any of these apps and says, well, I have experience in broadcasting, so surely I know how to do it. No, that's not the case because there's so many different nuances. And by Brian testing all of these out, and listen, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I get annoyed with Brian, but I tell him to his face, like, Brian, really? Come on. But you have to understand why he is doing it. He's not telling you need to be on all of these platforms and create different content for every single one. He's doing it because he sees the value in hitting different audiences or maybe the same audiences, but understanding each platform and how people can interact, how broadcasting works. And not just broadcasting. Brian's done this with other apps like Peach, like Anchor, like Snapchat. So it's being on all of them. But you, Sheila, you, Bob, you, Cindy, anybody else here, don't have to do the same thing. Pick one that works for you. Sheila, if you are focused on Facebook and your audience is on Facebook, why would you go in Periscope for your brand? Like what? There's no value there. You're not providing value. You're wasting your time, and essentially you're losing money on that. But if your audience is really engaged on Twitter, then go for Periscope. Now, the reason Brian says he goes to Periscope is because he wants to reach all these people because everybody is a potential client for him. But I will say this, not everybody in the entire world is a potential client for all of you that own maybe local businesses. If you own a local restaurant, I'm not going to tell you to go on Periscope and broadcast all the time and spend your time there. It's if everybody that you know is on Facebook. Would that be something you're interested in? Probably not. But Brian, I had to give you a little bit of I had to stick up for you a little bit because I know sometimes people get a little confused with why you do what you do. And so finally I was like, I want to say it. I'm glad we had about 100 people in here watching that, because there's a reason for it. It's not just
right.
let me
and that's
broadcast.
Right, and I think and they'll notice, like when I work with brands or I'm setting up a strategy, 9 out of 10 of my strategies with live streaming with the brands that I'm working with is using one platform at a time, and it's dedicating that resource to that, or separate people using each one. Right, like one of them I was building out yesterday. We have a Snapchat influencer, we have a Periscope influencer, and we have a YouTube influencer. They're all three manning their own devices. And ultimately, I built out a different value proposition, solving a different business case, and the storyboard even looks different. But how am I going to help a brand build a strategy on Snapchat, Periscope, and YouTube without me understanding all three platforms? So that, yes, Enzo, you're right on that side. And I will also—
Does that answer your question, Sheila, by the way? Go ahead, type that.
On Sheila's side on that question, like, so I did the Super Bowl with SAP, right? And we broadcasted on Blab while we were there. So we did 20 hours of Blab over 5 days. Well, in between the Blabs, we took Periscope and we walked around the facility and gave you behind the scenes access to where we were sitting, some updates on the Periscope. Then at the end of the day, we did a Facebook Live to the Facebook page, letting everybody know a recap of the day. So I used all three of those platforms in one day, but all three of them were different strategies, different value proposition, different point, and ultimately had different success metrics, because I didn't need a certain amount of views on one versus the other one. I wanted to draw views. And back to Mark's question, from a call to action perspective there, I didn't give a call to action perspective on any of the three. I cross-promoted some. So I'd say, hey, remember, if you guys want to participate in our conversation tomorrow, go watch the Blab. On the intermissions, on the Blab when we're on Periscope, hey, we're going to get 2 more hours of Blab content. But I think that's something that is often misunderstood. It's not, I believe you go to where your audience is and you educate them, but you have to listen on all places so that you understand where they might be going tomorrow. And the reason that I'm kicking the tires on that is because I want to be able to be educated, or at least build a strategy on all of that. That's why you'll find me on Snapchat like a machine right now. And it's not because I think every brand needs to be live streaming, Snapchatting, blabbing, all of those things, but I believe Snapchat is going to be a critical part of a strategy moving forward in the very near future. And I want to make sure that I understand the platform.
Nazim asked a really good question here. Is national TV broadcasting, I'm assuming, at risk in the near future? I'm not going to say they're at risk, like they're shaking in their boots yet. But I will say, with this recent Twitter acquisition or Twitter partnership with the NFL, now I will also be 100% honest with you. The NFL is not stupid. They just sold the same rights to the same 10 games 3 times. NBC, CBS, and Verizon all have the same rights to those games that Twitter does. So the NFL get out like bandits. And I'll tell you this, the NFL sold the rights to NBC and CBS for $45 million per game for 10 games. They sold the rights to one game in London to Yahoo last year for $17 million. Did Yahoo do anything with that? No. I mean, not that I know of. They haven't made any headway into the fact they that partnership they could have leveraged so much, and they didn't. So no, I don't see it as a risk to broadcasting, but I think there's a little bit of like an elbow nudge, like, hey guys.
Well, I think
Twitter's going to have to prove that social streaming, right? I think I'm going to coin that, social streaming, or social video, but social streaming, whatever. Let's just call it that. It could make an impact if you see a lot of traction behind these live games on Twitter, and now all this, like, I want to see what happens when the season starts. Is ESPN going to be like, oh, the Twitter stream was saying this, blah, 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 blah. Like, is that what's going to happen? Are we going to be talking? I mean, because surely journalists and broadcasters are going to be jumping in the conversation. They already do. They already comment during games anyway on Twitter. Now they're going to be commenting with a retweet of the stream behind it, right?
Well, let's face it. I actually think it's going to change the face of how we actually consume it. Because right now, we listen to the same Yahoos, and I use Yahoo as not the TV brand, but the same broadcasters for 4 hours leading up to a game. Then we listen to them for 4 hours during the game. And then we listen to them for 2 hours after the game. That's what they want us to do on network TV. I believe that exclusive access before and after the game into the locker rooms, providing unique access, is actually going to shift to a more of a social video platform. And we're actually going to see, you're still going to consume the NHL. You're going to still consume stuff on your 60-inch TV. I actually just believe the way that we actually give access, we talk about the game, is give behind the scenes, if I would say so, think like a fan. If that element right now, we're still getting Charles Barkley for 4 hours, and then we have to listen to him during the broadcast, reiterate the same damn stuff. The reason that we don't watch that is because, let's face it, we would rather go to YouTube and watch other content that's out there. So I actually think the way that the broadcaster is actually leveraging is going to change for sure. So I got about 5 more minutes before I have to actually run. My daughters have gymnastics. So you want to grab a couple more questions? Or
yeah, let's grab a couple new questions here. I'm going to go ahead and pick some. Let's see. Robert asked, how many people are watching this stream on all different platforms? That's kind of just answer that question, Brian. I'm going to take it down here. Just figure it out. I'll find another question. Okay. Well, that's another personal question, I guess. They just want to know, how big is your support team, and are any of them here right now, Bri?
No. So yeah, right now I'm a lone shark, but it's because I do a lot of stuff. I love being the entrepreneur where I can do what I want when I want. And I came up with this idea after watching Enzo this morning, knowing that Zuckerberg was going to come on here. I just messaged Enzo and said, hey, you want to come on here? I think I can get a special guest from Facebook to come on. Unfortunately, he messaged me and said he's not going to be able to come on. They're having some fire drills now at the Facebook office. But so we threw this together. So the reason I'm holding all the devices, the reason I'm trying to manage the chat is because my team is rightfully so. They have other things that we had planned and scheduled for the day.
Right. Who are we supposed to have? They want to know.
So it was someone from the Facebook Live product management team. So we're going to do a blab with him hopefully in the next 5 days or so. Unfortunately, he had to go out there. And so people on my Periscope, for some reason, believe I'm being paid by Facebook. I've made $0.00 from Facebook, and actually the exact same amount from Periscope. So the amount of dollars that either one of those companies have paid me into my back pocket is $0.00. So don't for a minute think that I actually believe in the power of storytelling, authenticity, and delivering value. I don't really care about the platform as much as it might be conveyed as that right now, because they're not paying me.
I'm also platform agnostic. To me, it doesn't matter what platform you're using. Like I answered to Sheila before, I don't care if you're on Periscope, Snapchat, Facebook Live, My Eye, Nevi, whatever's working for you. It doesn't make a difference what you're using. Am I going to express an opinion when I think a particular app might not be the best place for a certain streaming? Sure, but it doesn't mean that it can't work. We had this discussion last night with Joel, Blab Talk Live, a show I do on Tuesday nights at 10 Eastern. Somebody came on and he's like, I have 1 million Google Plus followers. And I was like, great. So what are you doing with it? And he basically was like, nothing. But it's so valuable. I said, it's worth nothing because you're not using it. And that's the case in point. If you are cultivating an audience somewhere, just be there and be present. And when I say be present, I mean, don't automate crap. Like someone like Brian is a prime example because he's spending time to live stream. You can't fake it. You can't schedule that in Buffer. You can't schedule that with some tool. You can't schedule being here for an hour before he has to take his kids, or pick his kids up or whatever. You can't, I just spent an hour here talking about this. Like, I can't schedule this. I had to plan my day or plan my afternoon around this. Like that, this is authenticity. So wherever you can provide the most authenticity, spend your time there. That's like probably my mic drop for the afternoon.
No, I love it. And I think, I would love to kind of wrap up on, I think where we're at right now, when someone asks us, to predict the future, I don't believe you need to predict the future of live streaming. I think you need to build in a strategy that embraces change, that understands the importance of community, storytelling, and engagement. The platforms are going to come and go. The features are going to come and go. Crazy early adopters like Enzo and I are going to jump on here and share the news and be so excited about it. But I think you have to start building a strategy that engages your audience, builds a community, because here's the thing. If you built followers on Facebook or followers on Twitter, those are followers that are on platforms. If you build a community, they will follow you everywhere you go. Therefore, it does not matter if all of a sudden Apple has a live streaming app a year from now. I know when I go live on there, my community will come with me because my community follows me where I go. So when I'm working with brands, when we're talking about these things, yes, there's features. Yes, there's an understanding, but they're ultimately, let's understand what we're trying to do here. People do not get on social and do not have a relationship with a brand or a logo. They care about the experience and the people that make up the brand. Live streaming, live social video on Snapchat, Periscope, Blab. It gives you the ability to scale that and prove that you trust your employees and you believe in authenticity.
One last little nugget here. I read an article. And for those of you that don't know, I have a podcast called the Brand Boost Podcast. So I'm always keeping up on things that are going on, and I try to be on the up and up. My podcast is usually recorded either one day or sometimes I record the same day and publish because I want to stay on top of what's going on. I don't want to be like, oh, I recorded that 3 weeks ago and now all of a sudden it's behind. I don't know, Bob. Brian, are you hearing me clear enough? Bob says he's not hearing me. Okay.
You're good on my side.
So what I want to say is if you haven't looked into the demographic, the age demographics of who's consuming content on these platforms, and you think that, well, my demographic is 40 plus, or my demographic is 65 plus, whatever it might be, that's fine. I really encourage you to take a look at the 18 to 24 age group, because in 6 years, they're going to have families. They're going to get married. They're going to be in buying positions. They're going to be managers. So they'll be influencing decisions more than you think in just 6 years. Let's go even a little further. Imagine being able to reach them on platforms like Snapchat or live video. And the reason I wanted to bring this out is because there's so many people that say, oh, you know what? I don't have to be there. Like that's where like the new kids are at. It's not a place for it's not a place for us to play on. Just rethink it. Also the Twitter, the URL is brandboostcast.com/subscribe. I think Brian dropped the wrong one in there, but it's okay.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. So regardless, I just want to say when Brian says something or like if I'm talking about something, it's because we're looking at it from kind of like the 30,000 and sometimes we come down closer. We're looking at the industry as a whole. I mean, the influencers aren't necessarily these 35, 40 years old. Yes, they have the buying power, which is the bottom line, but who's influencing those decisions? So take a look at your business, really step back. When you create a persona for your business, when you create your avatar, your perfect customer, really understand who influences their decisions. Don't think for a second that a mom with 3 daughters is not being influenced to buy things and spend money from her kids. Same thing with a dad and whatever it might be. Everybody has somebody that influences them and to some extent. So don't take these younger demographics for granted. That's
spot on.
It's a question we get all the time. So,
and I always say, you never know who influences your influencer. So don't tell me that your audience isn't there. The number one influencer of mom jeans is 14-year-olds to 20-year-olds because moms listen to their daughters about what jeans are cool. If you think about that in your industry, who do your influencers listen to? Who do your customers listen to? All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I got to go run and do some gymnastics with my 3 daughters. Thanks, Enzo, for jumping in. Guys, check it out. New features.
Thanks for the social.
Cheers.
Later, bud.